All right, this video is about a lot of talk about resistance, right? And how I've noticed that some of the other programs, now that I think about it, and when I pull back a bit and I see where I am now, what I've learned now compared to what I was learning when I first started it, and the differences, and it's like night and day, right? Well, what programs are there? There's, at the top of my head, there's the TMS world, there's DNRS, there's Gupta, the lightning process. I think that was the OG, right? Where that was been around for 25 years. I think Annie was on that one, and she recovered. And then DNRS came around. No, lightning process came, and then Gupta came, and then DNRS, and then we have a bunch of other ones. But the TMS world, I think it was around way before, because Dr. Sornos, he was the OG. He's been around since I think the 80s, right? And he's been spreading awareness. We've got the Dare app, it's a beautiful app. What else is there? There's so many. Is all the books, right? All the mind, body, brain retraining space with all the books that go with it. And there's some that at the time, well, when I first started out, this is all new to me, right? And I just took everybody's word for it. But there's one person does this way, one person does that way, I had to do them all, right? I have to kind of be open-minded and see what happens, type of thing, right? Make the mistakes, fail, suffer. It took longer because of that. And but then I think back now, I'm happy that I am where I am, and I got the clarity that I did by trying all this stuff, right? And some of them worked in the beginning, and then I became stuck, and I had to adjust. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that in the brain retraining world where they had to jump ship, right? For me, I knew it was brain retraining, or they call it brain retraining. I just call it bringing down your baseline, turning off alarms, and emptying your bucket. Right? Regulating, right? But there's different versions out there. So I kept in that path. No matter what, I knew this was the cure. I just needed to, there's a path, but there's still obstacles on that path, right? I didn't try other modalities when it comes to, all the rabbit holes that you see on Facebook, right? I did that years ago before. I bought the t-shirt. I had the tests done. I went to the doctor, naturopaths. I did all the crazy protocols. I bought all the supplements. I did all that shit. And it was all over the place. Nothing, I was out in the sea and I was just all over the place, right? Lost, right? And then we shift into the mind and body space, right? And it's getting bigger. And there's some big players in there. And, I mainly stayed in the beginning with DNRS. But while I was doing DNRS, I was also doing Dan Buglio's videos and the TMS world. I liked the TMS world. I thought it was, Dr. Sarnos and some of the other TMS gurus. I follow them too. But I still did the main work. So I would dabble in a little Joe Dispenza, meditations, a little dabble in with some Dr. Sarnos, and I bought the books, right? And it was, I was doing all mind, body, space, but I was still staying straight to the path and going, okay, that's interesting, but I'm still staying on the path. I was still doing my visuals, right? I was still doing keeping my schedule busy, and right, so I was on the path. So I guess you could say I was doing a bunch of things at the same time. So I was doing the visuals, moving forward, but along the way I was tasting other things along the way, and I kept the things that I enjoyed. So doing the videos with Dan Buglio, doing the Dare response. I got the Dare app. I loved it. It was great. And, I find different tools from different places. And then I, became my own guide and became my own guinea pig, made my mistakes, tested on myself, did things that didn't work, but I did them anyway just to make sure that maybe there wasn't like a hump. And then I realized, oh, that was the way. And then I did things that didn't work where I was slammed against the wall and I was just stuck and it just was not working and things were getting worse. Right? So I dabbled in, a lot of things. And with that information, I, cleared my own path. Right? I was like, okay, this shovel, I need this shovel now. Let's go with the, cleared my own path. And then I, ping, ping. And I got the right? And I keep moving forward. And then, I start to, realize what is useless and what isn't, and what, with the clarity, I'm like, man, some of these programs, they might have one or two good things, but, good thing I'm lucky I got out of some of these, right? Getting some of the clarity now, I'm like, shit, man, I probably would have kept being stuck if I didn't have some sort of intervention from above, right? Telling me, yeah, I think that's enough for this. That's good. Now you're in this new mind-body space, but you should move over here. You got a lot of things to learn. It's a new world over here. This is the answer right here. Keep going that way. Oh, okay. Right? And not only that, I've also found out that some programs totally copied other programs and didn't give them credit, which is kind of fucked up, right? And then, so then I go see some of these older programs. And I'm like, okay, now I can see a pattern. I see where the staple, the pattern came from. It seems like it's, very similar. And then, but then also looking at some of these programs, I'm just, what a difference it is from what I do now compared to what I was learning back then. And I see a lot of resistance in some of these programs. It's like, some of these programs are like, well, we got to catch these thoughts and just redirect. So it's like, hey, no, we're going that way. Hey, buddy, you coming this way? Let's go that way. No, go that way. Oh, I see, you're coming, go that way. Look, no, I don't want to feel you. Get away. Redirect and get the hell out of here. Oh, that's a bad thought. I don't like that. Go that way. You're going to that room. It's like a big hoarding house, right? You got the garbage everywhere, right? You got the cat piss, cat shit, dog shit, dead cats, cockroaches, garbage piled up. You got the maggots. Smells like fucking ass and fucking dead carcasses, right? You got the mold everywhere. It's a crazy fire hazard. You can barely walk anywhere. You're like, oh fuck, what is that? Is that a dead cat? Oh, he's still alive. He's not. He'll be dead by tomorrow. Oh, look at that cat shit. Oh, fucking rotten food from years ago, and it's black now. Oh, the toilet. You can't even use the toilet. This is a 4-alarm fire hazard. Disgusting hoarding house. Okay, so what are we gonna do? Well, why don't we empty the place out and clean it up? No. Let's not do that. No. What we should do, we should move some of this garbage into that room. There's still some room. It's only halfway full. We can probably get all the garbage to reach the ceiling. Why don't we do that? Okay, but we'll still have garbage. No, don't do that. We need enough room so we can walk from here to there. That's all we're going to do. We're just going to walk from here to there. We'll make a new pathway, right? We'll make some pathways that lead from here to the kitchen, from here to the washroom. We'll just move all the shit from the toilet. You know what? Fuck that. We're not going to clean the toilet. We'll just get a bucket. We'll just start a new bucket so you can piss, and then you'll shit. We'll shit in another bucket, right? We'll just create new buckets, and we'll just create new pathways so you can walk from here to there. Good enough, right? It's working, right? I can walk. Right before yesterday, we couldn't walk from here to the kitchen. Now we can, right? But where are we going to sleep? Well, you know what? We'll just sleep on the pathway that goes from the kitchen to the washroom. How about that? And then, the next morning we'll just get up and you just kind of step over your bed, right? That'll work. Okay. But then you're still stuck with it being a fire hazard. It's still a hoarding house. It still smells like piss. You still got rats sleeping with you. See, if I keep doing this, it'll make it seem like I got more points, right? You got, more mold. You got the maggots. You got, what else you got? Oh man, yeah, the cockroaches. You're sleeping, you're like, right? You're eating cockroaches at night because you don't even know because you're asleep and you're choking on it. And you're like, oh my God, it's probably the mold. It's got, but no, it's not the mold. I'm good, whatever, right? And your walls are black. And you're like, it's funny. I didn't paint those walls black. I think they were white before. Well, it's the mold. It's a shit show nightmare. But you're thinking that, instead of cleaning this place out, going through it, putting them in garbage bags, processing everything, maybe, trying to process the reason why this house got full of junk, processing those emotions, allowing the alarms to be there, Maybe, if you would have seen that a couple of cockroaches came along, you would have did something about it. But no, instead, you just ignored it. You didn't want to deal with it. Serenity Now, right? A lot of Serenity Now, I noticed in some of these groups, because they're not allowing, right? They're not inviting in the emotions, the feelings, the thoughts, the symptoms, right? They're not asking for more, or they're not bringing them with them, right? Instead, they're holding these loads. They're just moving these loads in different rooms, right? You got these 747s and these big bag loads on your back that you've been carrying throughout your life, right? Throughout your life, these things started to fill up your bucket. Your baseline starts to go up. Your brain perceives danger. It sends out alarms. So what are some of these programs are doing? They're just going, let's put that big load right there. Put it in the guest room. Yeah, but there's already loads in there. Okay, put it in the kitchen. There's already loads in there. Okay, you know what we'll do? is we'll pile the loads on top of each other. Okay, I guess we could do that. Yeah, just do that. So we'll just move loads around, right? So, you might be moving symptoms around or getting rid of symptoms in the kitchen or in the living room. Yeah, the loads aren't in the living room, but they show up somewhere else. Where? In the attic. So what happens? The brain needs to send you danger alarms. It needs to get your attention. So you're getting rid of some symptoms. You're getting rid of some of these symptoms physically. What happens? Well, the body has to get your attention. So what does it do? It uses different alarms. Your mental alarms. It uses OCD, intrusive thoughts, anxiety, right? And your mental alarms spike because people are moving. They're not cleaning out anything, right? So your mental alarms spike. Okay, fine. So what do? Eventually you come to a point where you have to empty the house, you have to process, you have to allow, right? And I've seen it with a lot of these programs where people are doing the work, it's great, but then they get stuck. 9 times out of 10, I noticed a pattern. People, they start healing, they're feeling good, and then what happens? The OCD and intrusive thoughts, the anxiety, PTSD shows up. And they get discouraged and they get stuck and they're looping. They're constantly looping. Right? So when somebody goes through something like this, right, and they don't know better, so what happens is you get all this mental alarms, and then people might try to feel them. They're like, no, I should listen to my instincts and feel my emotions and go, okay, show me the fear. No, I don't like this. You know what? No, I'm going to keep distracting because this feels uncomfortable. This is hard work. So I'm going to back up a bit, create some distance, and I'm going to keep redirecting. I'm just going to keep redirecting, right? So they keep pushing, doing the same methods as before. Moving loads around, right? Moving the garbages in different rooms, but they're not processing it. They're not listening to the alarms, right? You got all these alarms ringing in the house, but you're ignoring them. You're not acknowledging them, right? You're going, stop, stop, stop. If that's not an indicator of resistance, I don't know what is. There's a few programs that I've seen where they're going, you got to catch them and you got to say stop. Stop, stop, stop. Get it the fuck out of here. And what do you think that's going to do? Right? You create new neural pathways, right? But these new neural pathways, you might feel good for a little bit, but all you're doing is you're creating new neural pathways with the loads that are still there. You're just moving them around. Yes, you created new neural pathways, but so what? You still got the same problem, right? You might get some relief a little bit. Symptoms go a little bit, and you stop the practices, and then what do? Something happens in your life. You get slammed with symptoms come back. You get a spike. You get the alarms back on. You're back to square one, right? And you might get a rebound effect where you're hit with more loads. And you're stuck again. What a difference. What a huge difference. So the more you don't empty your bucket, you don't acknowledge the alarms, the more you want to have Serenity Now, right? Serenity Now, Serenity Now. What do you think is going to happen in the future? It's going to go off like a bomb. Serenity Now. Insanity later. Right? And I've experienced this myself. I did the work, right? I redirected. Stop, stop, stop. Resistance. What you resist persists. I'm creating a new neural pathway. Let's just ignore this shit and create a new neural pathway. Fuck it. It's a Band-Aid. It's like a bridge, right? We're building a bridge over an old pathway. Fuck it. We're just going to have a detour. Fuck that shit. I don't want to deal with this shit. We're going to avoid it. We're not going to listen to the alarms. I'm not going to acknowledge them. No, shut up. I'm going to start smashing alarms. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start smashing them. I don't hear them anymore. That means it's working. Da-da-da-da-da. So why not allow the thoughts to be, allow them to do their thing, ask for more, let them go wild. Your physical symptoms, the what if thoughts, intrusive thoughts, feelings, triggers, right? Your PTSD. The OCD comes up in the form of an alarm. So people think, well, that's a problem. I don't like that. Okay, well, I don't want to feel that stuff. So, because that feels uncomfortable. That can't be right. So I'm going to back up a bit and I'm going to keep redirecting and throwing it into another, maybe the garage. Maybe I'll throw it in the back room. The attic. Yeah. Well, now the attic's getting full. Oh my goodness. Where am I going to put this garbage? Maybe I'll start burning shit. How about that? Yeah, you know what? Let's put some of the garbage in that back room and we'll just burn it down. Fuck it. We'll just cut it off. Right? We just won't, But doesn't that mean we're going to have less of a house? It'll be, you're fucking with the structure of the house. It's starting to break down and things aren't going to work properly. You're going to still have cat shit and, dead cats and fucking pelicans and, right, or cockroaches and mold. We're still going to have that, right? Yeah, I don't know. Fuck, we'll just keep doing what we're doing. It seems, I don't know, I'm able to walk to the washroom. Fuck off. So like I've said before, it seems like the emphasis is too much on creating a neural pathway, not really doing the work when it comes to emptying your bucket, right? Processing the emotions and the alarms. Bringing the baseline down, right? And allowing the alarms and acknowledging them, right? Going through all the layers of the onion, letting them process, sitting with them, sitting in that fear, feeling the emotions, and then engaging. Right? The top-down approach. And then there's the bottom-up approach, where they say, there's the trapped trauma in the body. We need to release that in the brain. It'll heal the brain. The brain will acknowledge that and then, it recalibrates. I don't agree with that either. There's programs that have got people doing these exercises to release stored trauma in the body, right? And you got them literally like an exorcism. They're shaking right? And then they're like, well, animals do it. When a deer goes through trauma, it shakes and then, it goes on its way and it's fine. So that's what we're doing. We're doing the bottom up approach, and, we release trauma that's here and here, right? And then we just, you just shake a little bit. Just a little bit. You just go, right? People probably like wondering what's going on with me, right? So you're like, just feel it, and then just let it shake it out, Oh my God, do some exercises, and then that to me, I'm gonna have to go out on a limb and say it doesn't make any sense to me, right? The brain is the brain. This is the control center, right? It tells the body what to do. The body just follows suit, right? You're wearing a suit that listens to the control center. That's it. The trauma, there's no trauma here. There's no trauma stored in here. No. It's all in here. The brain is what's perceiving danger. This is the security system. It's there to keep you alive. It controls all this shit. So it's this out, right? And you, the person that's wearing this bodysuit, the soul, the higher self, you're the one that tells the brain what to do, right? It sends you alarms, you acknowledge them, you process them, and you respond correctly. And the brain monitors you, your feelings. It's like a surveillance system, right? It sees, smells, hears, right? It's listening to your responses, and what you tell it to do, it will respond. It's a communication loop that you're having, right? You respond correctly, the brain uses that and recalibrates, and it tells the body what to do, right? You bring your baseline down, turn off alarms, body's able to regulate, right? It's like, right? It's beautiful. We carry loads in our mind and body, right? But to empty those loads, you have to do it through here. You're just going to be chasing your tail, trying to do it physically, right? Trying to get rid of the loads physically. It doesn't work like that. The brain is the commander in chief. It tells the body what to do, and you're the one that commands the brain. Just like, the buzzword is, you got two brains. You got the brain and you got the gut. Fix the gut, and then the brain feels better. That's not true. The gut is the gut. The brain is the brain. The brain, it directs the gut. So if you're dealing with some shit, with some alarms here, your gut's going to be affected because it's very closely linked to the brain. You got so many nerves down there that anything that you're dealing with, you'll notice, if it's been a stressful week, you're going to get some gas, stinky farts, right? You're going to get some gut issues, right? Your heart, same thing. It affects your heart. It affects everything. This is what we're working on. So that is why we don't stop. Redirect, push it in another room, right? That's why we don't use Band-Aid solutions. That's why we don't just do this for creating pathways. It's not about the pathways. Pathways just happen as a consequence. The brain is doing the job, right? It's going to do that anyway. No matter what you do, it's creating pathways. So neuroplasticity in a way is kind of irrelevant. It doesn't really need to be talked about. It's good to know about it, but it's not important really. It just happens. The brain does it anyway. What we should be doing is communicating with the brain, but the perceived danger alarms are incorrect. Let them ring, acknowledge them, engage, they turn off, which allows your baseline to calm down, right? You feel the feelings, you allow them to be, you engage, you live your life, and then your body's in balance and it can finally do its job. All the different systems in the body are able to do its thing. The liver is able to do its thing, the kidneys, right? Your gut is finally, your biome's back online. You're emotionally stable now, right? Because you're not ignoring or distracting or resisting things in your mind, right? So you're not having avoidance behaviors with emotions in your mind and creating new neural pathways and being stuck in your mind. That doesn't make any sense. If you're dealing with some emotional, mental health, regulate it. Allow it to run its old program, right? Just allow it. But then you engage with what you want your brain to be, right? The brain is acting like this now. You don't like the emotions or feelings that you're having. Okay, let it run, because we don't want to fight with it. We don't want to resist it, because that causes more problems. Let it run its old course. Let it run the old program. But you're also showing it, no, but we're going to be like this. This is what I like. I like being happy. I like not having anxiety. I just like being happy. And the brain goes, okay, we're going to start running that program eventually. And that's it. And that's your new you. And the old you, the neural pathways die, and you create new neural pathways. That's how it works. It's about processing, feeling the feelings, turning off the alarms, allowing your baseline to calm down so that you can hardwire that in, your new baseline at 0, and everything will just work like it's supposed to. It knows. Your kidneys know what to do, right? Your liver knows what to do. Your gut knows what to do. Biome comes back online, like I was saying before. And you're fine. The brain brings it all to you on a platter. It goes like this. Hey, can we work on this? Yeah, we'll work on that. I don't like it, but we'll work on it. Okay. Bring it to me, Limby. Bring it to me on a platter. All right, put that there. Put that in the storage. Throw that out. Okay, thank you. Right? I'm acknowledging. Thank you for helping me. Thank you for working for me. Thank you for keeping me alive. Thank you for letting us clean this place up a bit and having it organized the way I want. Right? I'm customizing my brain so I can have the emotions that I like and be happy and have my body working the way I want efficiently. So that in the future, when life throws me curveballs, I'm able to handle it with ease. I never get sick. Everything works with ease because life will throw curveballs. Right? Our bucket's going to go up and down, up and down, up and down, right? Up and down, up and down. But we don't want to always have it full or just close to full because it won't take much for it to, boil over or spill over. It won't take much. So what's the point of that? Let's fully empty it. Let's fully turn off alarms. Let's bring our baseline down and restore. Not manage, not cope, not just recover, right? Because we're just underneath the surface. No, restore. So we're thriving. Don't forget to smile. Another thing that bugs me with some of these groups or programs is when they say that, I had a brain injury, right? My limbic system, it's limbic impairment, right? I had a brain trauma. I went through all these things in my life, right? That's how we get sick. We go through all these things in our life. We don't regulate. We hold on to 747s. We're pulling them on. Our baseline goes up. Our brain security system sends alarms, right? It's doing its job. It's not injured. You don't have a brain trauma. You're not impaired. You don't have a mental illness. That is wrong. That's bad information. Your brain is actually working perfectly. It's brilliant. It's working amazing. And it's keeping you alive. Just because you don't like what your brain is sending you, it doesn't mean you're impaired or traumatized or injured. It just means it's a survival state program. And it's trying to get your attention because it's perceiving danger everywhere. It's trying to keep you alive. It's doing its job. Actually, it's perfectly fine. So don't buy into the bullshit that you have some sort of injury or some sort of brain defect trauma or that you're, injured. No, you're not. Your brain is working very well. You just got to regulate it and recalibrate it. That's it. right? It's up to you. You brought it there. You're the one that programmed it there. It wasn't your fault, but you brought it there with all the bullshit that you went through in your life. And it's up to you if you want to get out of it. If you don't, the brain will keep sending you the false alarms. It'll still do its job. From 2 years from now to 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Right? You don't have to change a new program. But 9 times out of 10, people don't want to deal with these alarms anymore. Right? So it's up to you to change the program. The brain just follows what you want. So if you're going to tell the brain, okay, we're safe, we're not in danger anymore, I don't need your reminders, I don't need you to keep me alive, because I am alive. Right? Thank you. But let's change the program. I want to, alter the program. I don't need you to watch my back. But thank you for doing that. But, I've decided I'm going to change the program and customize it the way I want. So let's lay off the protection. Let's dial that down. And trust me. And this is how you do it with a communication loop, responding correctly, turning off alarms, baseline comes down. Right? That's where that all comes in. Allowing, engaging. And then you get this new program that comes in. Right? And that's the new program. And you like this program. You're like, I like this one. So why don't we stick with this one? So you keep having that communication with the brain that keeps that program in online. That's it. The brain only does what you tell it to do. Once you understand how this works, at the end of the day, sickness is a choice. So you can choose to change the program. And if you do the work, the brain has no choice but to change. It has to. It physically has to. And you will change. And you will recalibrate. And you'll run a new program. And you'll recover. And you'll restore. So don't believe the bullshit. You're not injured. You don't have an impairment. You're actually working perfectly fine. The brain is amazing. But you didn't know that you're the one that programmed the brain this way. Your reactions to life stresses, all the curveballs that life threw at you, right? The bad relationships, the smoking, the drinking, the drugs, the trauma, the bad work environment, toxic coworkers, your boss is a fucking goof, idiot, right? Things that are happening in around the world, right? This all affects you, and you, because of that, because you're in the state of fight or flight, the brain perceives danger and it tries to protect you. And it's not your fault. But you programmed it. By the way you were reacting, your bucket got full, you're pulling 747s. And here we are, right? You're not impaired. You just got to change the program, and you'll get out of that old program into the new. And the brain just has to follow what it's told. It goes, all right, let's go. Right? Dolly, sorry, I was playing trumpets. She was sleeping. So if you see a program where, they're telling you to override the thoughts that you have by trying to push new thoughts and repeating that over and over again, run away. Right? It might work for the short term, but it's not going to work for the long term. You're just going to come back to the same shit show. Or what's going to happen is your OCD and your mental alarms will skyrocket and you're going to feel stuck. Right? We need to acknowledge, we need to allow, we need to feel, process, right? And then engage to what you rather want and repeat that. We don't want to resist, because what we resist persists. Like I said before, it's like saying, don't think about purple tigers. And you do it 1,000 times. You're going to think about purple tigers. Right? Serenity now. Insanity later.